Shay tapped in and she had her birthday dinner. Happy birthday to Shay. Teresa's tapped in and her birthday was yesterday. It is literally no excuses for anyone,
Okay,
y'all.
Scorpio, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Teresa. That's what I'm talking about.
She is at her birthday dinner tapped in, y'all. This the type of dedication that's needed. It's a very competitive landscape out there. And if you are a person that feels like you just about to jump in the tax business and people just about to give you all their money or whatever, people about to pay you for a service. If somebody is working and have a W-2, they are probably locked in with somebody. Most people are. You have to beat them on something, and I never recommend you competing on price. So you're going to have to beat them with professionalism, and this is a part of professionalism is actually showing up to these meetings every Sunday at 6 o'clock. If you do not see a link, you may have an issue with my software where you didn't blocked us or something. But if anybody is not in the band app, I sent everybody an invite to the band app. All you have to do is click on it and sign up for the band app. You will get notifications for these type of meetings. That is very important. If you do not have the link to sign up for band app, then get with me ASAP so you can get that link and you can join our band. The band is called, I think it's Tax Team, Real Life Tax Pro or something. Let me look at it to make sure it's right. It's a private band app. Yep, Real Life Tax Team. So you should be in here. I'm already leaving messages in there. Um, let me see, Teresa is in there, Khadijah is in there. Shay, you're not in the band app yet, but don't worry about it right now. Enjoy yourself. But everybody needs to join this band. Um, we need to be able to communicate. I want to make sure everybody is in this band because some people not get notifications from my high level account, and I want to make sure everybody get the same information. But without the information, unless you hear from me, and it will definitely be Saturday at the latest, where I say that I'm too tired up to make it here, I will be here every Sunday. It's the same link every Sunday at 6 o'clock. Everybody should want to be here. Moving forward, I will be covering lessons from the tax course that's actually for sale. And you can get that tax course if you want the continuing education credits. I am going to cover them rather quickly. You will not be able to get the slides. It's something that they kind of like got me tied down to as far as people buying the software. I am a instructor from real, what is it, Latino Tax Pro, Latino Tax Pro. They have a course. That's the course that I'm offering y'all. The course is like $350. I signed on as an instructor, and I have to pay a yearly fee of like $800, $900 to give y'all this course at a discount. But I am going to go over the course with my tax team every year. Right now, this is the first of I think 13 lessons. Last week we just talked about due diligence. This today I'm going to cover two of them, and the first one is the 1040. The 1040 is the main tax form. The second course for today is filing statuses. So let's get right into it. I don't want to even um, waste too much time. Let's see. Let's get into Let me go ahead and open the PowerPoint and make sure. And that way, share it in the Zoom for you guys. I want to make sure everything is good, so it should be open. Boom. There we go. So we have the PowerPoint. I'm going to run this like a slideshow. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Let's get it. So let me close this out. see the slides, y'all. All right, so the first slide is just an introductory slide, y'all. We gonna go over this 1040. As I stated, the 1040 is the main form that you file taxes through. As you can see at the right hand of the screen, the Latino Tax Pro logo. As I stated, I am an instructor for them. I don't want to make this seem like this is my course. I am also taking a course. I'm about halfway through, but I didn't want to teach you guys anything that I didn't actually understand and know for myself. So even though I have had some tax training and I have done taxes for a couple years, y'all, I wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page this year. That's why I signed up as an instructor to give you guys this course. Um, so the 1040 is a standardized form. If you have not used this yet, if you don't have any understanding of this, this is what guides the entire tax return. Everything else is just something to fill in a slot in this form, like it's to fill in something for the 1040. This is the main form. So it's pretty simple. Here is just the personal information. Um, please make sure you fill this out the way it is on their social or the way that they filled it out on the taxes before, because anything can hold up this return. If the last name is hyphenated, make sure it's hyphenated. If the last name has changed since last year, make sure that they had their ID is that, and then you fill this out. This is why it's important to get all of the records you can get. If they are if they are married filing separately or married filing jointly, you have to still put the information in for their spouse. Oh, I'm sorry, I must have hit the button, but you still have to put the information in for their spouse, and you have to make sure that information is correct also. The filing status, which we will cover in detail in the next chapter, but this is very important because you get certain this certain credits and different things based on the filing status, but you cannot file head of household without children. If you have no children, you have to file as single. If you are married, then you are either going to file married filing jointly or married filing separately, but you are not filing single. Somebody asked me to do that this year, and I was like, "Look, we're not doing that." Like, so, if someone passed within the last 2 years, you are able to file qualifying surviving spouse. So there are things that you have to check when you're doing your due diligence to ensure that you are filing the tax return with the correct filing status. The standard deduction, the way that the tax software works, the standard deduction or itemized deduction, you will be able to choose between them. And basically, you want to choose whichever one gives them the best return. Sometimes itemized deductions are better because you're going to write off things like um, some type of donations or different things like that. But this is where you make that decision. Here's where you put the dependents. When you file these dependents, make sure the social security number is correct. Make sure that the relationship is correct. Another thing that's not here, but you need to double check is the birthdays. One of my clients, they had children born about a year apart, and they were born like one was September, one was October, and they were mixing it up. And this was getting rejected. It was getting rejected, and I'm like, man, just double check the birthdays, and they double checked the birthday. It was like, dang, I put the October birthday is 2005, and the September birthday is 2004 or whatever, vice versa. And it was just literally that was stopping it. It was giving me rejections. The information for the dependents were not correct. The information for the dependents were not correct. And if you choose the child tax credit, you have to be eligible for that. And the software is going to tell you if you're not eligible for that. So you can file for it until you see that you're not eligible for it. But if you're making too much or It's a few other things, but it'll kick it back and let you know. That's the good thing about using the software. So all of this will be filed in the software, and this would be all included in the W 2. And you will be able to see this line for line in the W 2. This is not rocket science. If you have more than one W 2, you just click on add another W 2 and you go through the same thing with the second W 2 or the third. One of my clients had three last year, and it was literally just add a second W 2, add a third W 2. Every line is going to be on the W 2. If you see something that you don't recognize, just give me a text or shoot me a screenshot or something and I'll help you out. But for the most part, this is pretty simple, but it is very important. And this is what, uh, when you put the information in there, you will see by the time you put in the dependents and you put this W 2 in, you will have some kind of idea of if they're getting a return or not, if they owe. And the W 2 basically it sets the guideline for the rest of the return. Um, Pretty simple. In this section, you go over the tax and credit. So you will see this in the software. This kind of handles itself. I don't want to go over a lot of this because I'm telling you, the software is great. If you have not used our software yet, just get in there. And I do have a video where I go through doing a full tax return, and I will send everybody a link to that just to refresh the people who were with us last year and to give the people who are just starting this year a clear view of what filing a full return looks like. Payment. So if you have any payments made, as you can see here, the W 2, this information to be in there. I'm just covering what this looks like, the income, the earned income credit or the EIC. This will be in there. If you see it, if you see any issues, the software will let you know. We are living in an age where I do not overthink things. I literally use that software, but I want to show you guys what this 1040 looks like. So this is all based on paper. So this is what a refund is going to show you, how to put in a route number, how to put in an account number, and if it's anything overpaid, you'll put it in line 34. But make sure the route number and the account number is right. Last year, somebody gave me the wrong account number, and it basically just mailed them. The IRS mailed them a check, but it still took a little longer than they expected, and it took a little longer for me to get paid too, because this was somebody that had like 2 or 3 years of returns and they gave me the wrong account number for both years. Yeah, it was 2 years. So they gave me the wrong account number for both years. So the way the software is set up is almost foolproof. If you do anything crazy, it's because you did something crazy. But just double check those count numbers and the route numbers and make sure they do too. So it's going to tell them on line 37 the amount they owe, and if it's any penalty, it'll be on line 38. If they do not owe anything, they will receive a return. And the way our software works, when they receive a return, it comes to um, it comes to an account that I can look at Refund Advantage, and I can see, okay, they were funded and how much they were funded, what day they were funded, how much the prep fees were, and how much prep fees were actually paid out. All of that's in the software. Last year, I didn't utilize it as much as I did. In the beginning, I didn't utilize it as much as I did towards the end, thanks to one of the tax team members who actually gave me a walkthrough of Refund Advantages app. And this year, we are fully utilizing it. I will be able to see who was funded, when they were funded, how much is owed, and I will be able to pay everybody in a timely fashion. I didn't have any problems last year, but we definitely stepping it up this year. As a service bureau, I have a little bit, a lot more on my plate, so I want to make sure I'm on top of everything. The tax preparer has to sign the forms. The tax preparer has to sign the forms, and the tax the client has to sign these forms. People, the easiest way to do this is to send them a link to the app. Even if they just put in their personal information, their dependents, and a few files, you can have them email over anything else you want. But using the app first, it allows for us to send them the the forms to sign easier. So they can go right in the app, click it, sign it, and it'll say in the software that the client has signed the return. If you don't do it that way, if you do not, I don't care if it's your husband and you like, look, this X, Y, and Z, it's just easier to send them a link to the app, have them do the initial sign up within the app, and you can just shoot them the forms to sign. If you don't do it that way, you have to send them an email code because it's locked. The way that it's set up is they need a code to actually access the return to sign it. And some people don't get it. Like it end up being a headache. And for previous years, that's okay. But for the years that you're doing it in, it's a lot easier to do the current year. Just send them the app link first and let them sign up there. So part two, the filing process. So the W-2s, 1099s, you start getting all of these things. You get receipts, checks, invoices, other statements. If it's something else that they got paid from. When this is the stuff that we talked about in due diligence, but you want to make sure you get all of this stuff up front because you get some clients that's like, look, let me send you this next week or let me do this, and they never send it. And they like, man, don't worry about it. Just push it through. But look, if they got W-2s and 1099s and things like that, you don't want to just push it through. You don't want to make amendments. Like amendments are a terrible waste of time if they don't have to be done. If you can do everything right the first time, just do it right the first time. The same thing as you see at the bottom with the Social Security and the full name, date of birth, the Social Security numbers and everything of the dependents. Make sure all of this is correct. Have them double check it. If they got birth certificates and things for you, make sure you double check it because I'm telling you, it will hold up the return. Make sure that these, if they owe, so people say that the deadline is April 15th. That is not the tax deadline. The deadline is technically October 15th. But in April, you want to make sure that anybody that thinks they owe, anybody that's like they don't have dependents or they're a business owner or they're not getting anything taken out, so the W-2 is just not going to help them if they don't have anything taken out for taxes. They haven't been paying their taxes during the year. They'll probably owe. The only thing that offsets that is actually having dependents that they could claim, and you get those type of credits, and you file and head a household. You get a little love then, but some people pretty much know they're gonna owe something. They need to file by April 15th. Um, we are doing everything e-file. Don't worry about the other things unless you go back too far. So if you have like right now a 2022, yeah, so a 2022 return, you have to mail that off. And I have had to mail things off. And it's not that hard. You just got to print out all these pages and forms. And sometimes a return might be like 30 pages. So it turns into a headache when you go back more than 2 years. So be conscious of that too. The deadlines, once again, that's the deadline for the individuals who owe is April 15th. The extended deadline is October 15th. The real deadline is October 15th unless they owe. Partnerships and returns, that was March 17th. As you know, this was for last year. Before the tax season start or during the tax season, I will go over deadlines. At the latest, it'll be February, March. We will go over the deadlines to make sure that we understand that. And these meetings will continue throughout the season. So we will be doing these huddles when the season start. It may turn into every other week depending on the need for it, but we will be doing these. I will start doing them every week, and if we figure out that everybody kind of on the same page and we only need them every other week, I don't mind doing that. But right now I'm doing these every week so we can get through this through these lessons and everybody can get this game. More filing deadlines if you do C corp, S corp, and foreign bank accounts. So I am not specializing in any of these yet. I am signing up to take the course for these. The same people, Latino Tax Pro, they offer courses to do C corp and things like that. Do not freestyle this, y'all. If you don't know it, just be honest with people and say, "Hey, I'm not familiar with that, and we can keep it moving. I do have a couple CPAs that I work with, so anything outside of our, our what we can handle, our spirit control or whatever. I do have CPAs on deck that will help us expedite things. We will have to break bread with them, but they will get things done for us. So, okay, so let me stop sharing. Anybody have any questions with what was on so far? Who was Ale? Alicia. Probably Alicia. Anybody have any questions about the 1040 form? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Team doing team. All right, so let me get out of there and let's get to the second part. Share my screen in a second. Okay, so let's do slideshow. Start. So this second part is about the filing status. Once again, this is from Latino Tax Pro. And like I said, you can get this course. It's $225 with my discount. It's $348 or something if you go through them directly. Either way is cool with me, but if you get it through me, you obviously get the discount and I'm able to go in and like assist you if you need assistance. If you go through them, you got to wait for their assistance. So it's all good. If it's something that's too crazy, I'm gonna have to deal with them anyway. But definitely, if you want these and you get 15 CTE credits, it's another option for three. But with this particular course, you get 15. It's another option for the book. The book is like $75, but it's all there for you if you want to get these continuing education credits. I keep saying CTE, but CE credits, continuing education credits. Um, it's a pretty good course though. So there are five federal filing statuses. It's single, married filing jointly, married filing separately, head of household, and qualifying surviving spouse. These are it's pretty simple. But when you get household, as you'll see later on, um, you get certain kickbacks or certain credits, and people think that I'm gonna just file head of household. Like you can't just file head of household. You have to fit the criteria of head of household. If you just a single person, you don't have any dependents, you need to just file single. But the software will tell you that. That's the beautiful thing about our software. If you go in to file it, they're going to say, hey, you put this person as head of household, but they have no dependents. You need to go get this together. So, single, they're either unmarried or legally separated as of the last day of the current taxable year. So, this year would be 25. If they are unmarried or legally separated, they could file single. If they are if they don't once again if they don't have kids, they are not head of household, they're just single. Divorced taxpayers consider unmarried for the entire tax year if the divorce is finalized on by or before the last day of the filing year. They are single if they were single the whole year. So or um at the end of the year, they are able to file single. They don't have to file married if they were divorced at the end of the year. Married filing jointly. These people, they live together or in a common law marriage. The state, Michigan is a common law state. If they've been together 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, they can still file married filing jointly. It'll get a little hairy because um, you don't get as many credits and things if you file married. So most people, one of them will file single, one of them will file, head of household, blah blah blah, depending on how they work it out. But um, even even if they're not in the same household, if they're married, they can still file jointly as long as they're not legally separated. So, if the spouse died during this tax year, they could file married filing jointly, um, as long as they didn't remarry. Married filing separately, whether they living together or apart, they could file separately. And the reason you would file separately is if let's say one of y'all have a lot of debt. If one of the husband or the wife have a lot of debt and you don't want to be responsible for that, or they don't want to be responsible for that, you can file separately and say, hey, they owe this, it ain't my business. I want to file separately to make sure I get a return, or to make sure that I'm liable for whatever I need to pay. So that's when you file separately. If you are married and filing separately, you will not get certain deductions or credits that you get when you file um, together, filing jointly. Taxpayers need to be advised that, like they say, they have limited deductions and adjustments and credits. So they telling you here what I was just telling you. So, head of household, this is where you get all the love at. But you have certain things that you have to qualify with to be a head of household, and that includes you have to be unmarried the last day of the year. You have to have a qualifying child or relative that live with you for more than half the year, and you had to pay more than half of their costs. Children of divorced parents, whoever lived, you got a residency test, so whoever the child lived with for the most time, they have the right to claim head of household. You can get this in writing or some type of formal agreement, then you will be able to claim them. But um, if you maintain a separate home for more than 6 months and you have a qualifying child that live with you, you can file head of household. So all of this information is on the slide. The qualifying surviving spouse, this can get sticky if they have a deceased spouse and they did not remarry by the end of the year, and if it has been less than 2 years, they could file their status. If they pay more than half the cost of maintaining the main residence for both the taxpayers, they could file their status. And you could either file married filing jointly or qualifying surviving spouse if they died during their tax year. So, dependent filing requirements. If you are claiming someone, um, then you need to make sure that they are under 19 or a full time student under the age of 24. You need to make sure that they made less than $5,050, and they could only qualify to receive their refund. So your child can file taxes if they have a job, or if they have something else going on, they have to file taxes, some type of 1099. Your child could file taxes, and they would state that they are eligible to be someone else's dependent, and they will ask them further questions, or you would fill this out in a software that they are eligible to be dependents on someone else's return, and that they are claiming them. And that way it would just be saying, hey, I'm just filing taxes to stay compliant with the law. That's what the child would be doing. So you got to pay attention to that. The qualifying child, here are a few of the qualifications. So they say it's 5 tests. The relationship test, it must be your child, stepchild, foster child, sibling, step sibling, or descendant of any of these individuals, which mean it could be a grandchild, a foster stepchild, or a grand stepchild, a grand foster child, sibling, or you know, a step sibling, or somebody within that sphere. They must be under 19, or they must be a full time student under the age of 24. They must have lived with you for more than half the year, or the taxpayer. They Whoever is claiming this dependent must have provided more than half of the support during the tax year. And if the child is married, they must not have filed a joint return with their spouse, unless it was only to claim a refund. So that's just letting you know that at 22, 23, you could be married and your parents still can claim you if you're a full time student, even if you filed a separate return or a joint return with your spouse. Um, they could still claim you as a dependent if they spent half the money for the year. Custodial parent. So this is a parent who the child live with for the greater part of the year. If the parents are divorced or separated, the child has to sleep at the home. Um, the child has to be there more than half the time. And this applies to both divorced and separated parents, and unmarried parents who lived apart for the last 6 months of the year. In case there are equal nights, each parent, the parent with the higher adjusted gross income is the custodial parent. Emancipated children, they are not treated as living with either parent. The tiebreaker rules. So the tiebreaker rules, it determine which parent can claim the qualifying child. If both of those parents are um, able to claim the child, um, but one of them don't want to do that. Let's say that the mother actually has um, like custodial custody of the child. Like the child is there most of the time. If the mother wants the father to be able to claim the child on his taxes, she'll have to sign off for it. So it's just that type of thing. Pay attention to this. So it's just something you got to pay attention to. So this is the form. So it's 830 is 8332. So this is the form. So this form is just to say that even though I am the custodial parent, I want to give the right to claim the child to the non-custodial parent, and this is 80 form 8332. So this is all it is. So you can't you can just file this one time and let them claim forever. So the relationship of the child must be, as I stated earlier, the son or daughter, stepchild, eligible foster child, all of that, and a descendant of any of these. The age test. So they have to be under 19. If they are 20, 21, 22, 23, and they are a full-time student, then you can still claim them. So if they are permanently and totally disabled at any time during the year, regardless of their age, you can claim them. If the child is not younger than the taxpayer or spouse, um, then it may be problems. But as you see here, it must be younger, especially if you claim in if you claiming a dependent in a joint filing, they gotta be younger than both. So here we go. This is how you can tell this qualifying child test, the member of the household or relationship test, gross income test, support test. All of these must be met. We just went over them. I don't want to beat a dead horse with this. I just want to be able to go over everything. So the citizen and residency test. So the child must be a U.S. citizen, y'all. You got other things like a national, a resident, and you have a resident of Canada or Mexico, but they must have lived with the taxpayer for more than half the year. There are exceptions if there are adopted children of certain groups. Temporary absences, like if a child is in juvenile, that is a temporary absence. They can still be claimed. If the children were born or died during the year, then you can get around that. You can still claim them. Kidnapped children, you are still able to claim them. Children of divorced or separated parents, you are able to claim them. So, the citizenship and place of residency, child citizenship often follows the parent citizenship. So, if the taxpayer was born here, the child is probably a U.S. citizen. Um, the U.S. nationals. Those are individuals from U.S. territory or Commonwealth owing allegiance to the U.S. So some of these people may be from Samoa or somewhere else, uh, wherever. So you will know that when you get to putting in the information for the dependents. The joint return test to be a qualifying child. A child who filed joint return generally doesn't qualify. The exception, joint return filed solely to claim refund when filing wasn't required. So this is something that you'll have to go through with the older children if they are able to file themselves. And the parents will ask you, will it be better if my child filed themselves? They can file themselves and still be a dependent, especially if they made less than $5,050. The support test, the support includes food, lodging, clothing, education, medical, dental, recreation, transportation, and different necessities. Um, it is not the same as a qualifying relative support test. With the child, all things are included in support. When you talk about a relative, like transportation and things like that, unless they are uh, disabled, that's not your business. So you will not be able to claim them if you uh, didn't do 50% of the other things. So if they are full time student, the scholarships don't count towards their support. So if they had a $5,000 scholarship, and you can prove you spent $5,000, that scholarship does not negate you from being able to claim the dependent, as far as support goes. The member of a household or the relationship test. So if a person has lived with you all year as a household member, the person is related to you, or the taxpayer in other specific qualifying ways, you can claim them. Relatives who qualify without living with the taxpayer, child, stepchild, different things like that, brother, sister, half brother, um, they can qualify without living with the taxpayer. Nieces or nephews, they could be the child of taxpayer sibling or half sibling. The aunt or uncle, uh, if you are taking care of these people, you are able to claim them as dependents. If all things else are considered. Qualifying relative support, if you are contributing to this relative's well-being and it's more than 50%, if you provide uh, if you provide from your own funds, if the taxpayer funds count only if used exclusive, they have to be paying to support the other person. You can't say, you know, I bought a car and I supported them. Like, no, you bought a car to drive, and yeah, you took them here and there, but it has to be exclusively for supporting them if you count that. There's a worksheet, publication 501. Um, Total support is savings, borrowed amounts. Examples of tax exempt income could be Social Security benefits, welfare benefits. If they get any of these, this does not count as the half. General requirements. You got to make sure that you file in these people, or uh, if they are descendants. So if somebody passes, you got to make sure that the information, their name, date of birth, and their uh, date of death is at the top of the return. Um, you're going to only report the income they received before passing, and you're going to only include expenses that they had before passing. You're going to claim the full exemption amount if the deceased descendant was the decedent was your dependent before death. So this is a little hairy, but basically, if a person passes during the year, they're going to give you grace. So you only have to count their income before they pass. You will only count their expenses before they pass, but you will be able to get the full exemption for claiming them. So they're giving you some grace. Signature requirements: if you are the representative, you could sign it. Not you as the taxpayer, but the not you as the tax preparer, but the taxpayer. If you are a surviving spouse, you are the personal representative, so you can sign it. If someone other than a spouse claims a refund, then they have to use Form 1310, which is a statement of person claiming refund due to a deceased taxpayer. But the spouse is able to claim the taxes. Inherited property. The property that the taxpayer received as a gift, bequest, or inheritance is not included as income and is not taxable. If the property produces income, though, if it's interest, rent, or anything else, that income is taxable. So let's say you got a house, somebody passed and left you a house. You don't have to pay anything like that, like any type of um, taxes on that. But if you have somebody living there and they pay $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 of income that you do have to claim. So, income in respect of the decedent. So that includes all gross income. Gross means everything. Net means after expenses paid and everything, but gross means all of the money they had a right to receive. And is not includable is their final return. So you don't have to pay anything based on the return that you get. If the state acquires right to receive revenue, so you want to report on the state's return, and then you want to report by the tax you receive, not on the descendant's final return. So what they're saying is, they're not going to make you pay taxes on the last return. So if the payment is not reported on Form 1041, it becomes the responsibility of the person to whom the state distributes the income. It is their responsibility. If someone acquires direct right to income, if they bypass the estate and they have to file the form, that person is required to report the income. Deductions in respect to the decedent. These can include such things as business expenses, interest, taxes, or income producing expenses for which the decedent was liable, but they were not deductible on the decedent's final tax return. So, um, these are a list of all of the eligible deductions you can receive if you have to file a tax return in the name of someone who passed. And the decedent's estate can pay and deduct these items in the same year if the estate is not liable for expenses like tax liability transfers to individuals who acquire decedent's property due to death. So long as the decedent doesn't owe a bunch of stuff, whatever, then they can take care of it. So it's kind of like something you don't want to deal with, but at least you understand what's going on, and it's only for that tax year that the person passed in. So here is a brief breakdown of deductions. Deductions are subtracted from the taxpayer adjusted gross income, and once again, that's the gross income. The gross income is everything, and this is standard deductions are a fixed dollar amount. So the standard deduction might be $5,000 or whatever, and they just gonna give you a standard deduction. But if you do itemized deductions, then they may be able to claim $7,000 in itemized deductions, and they'll get a little love. So here goes the filing standards and filing status and the standard deductions, y'all. So this just shows you how much each filing status was able to deduct as a standard deduction. So single, as you see here, single is only 15,000 last year. Married filing jointly is basically both 15,000, and then married filing separately is basically you getting single. Right? Head of household. This is why people always, I want to just file head of household. I want to file head of household. You see, the deduction is one and a half of that, right? As a standard deduction. So this is where people want to use the system. We can't allow them to do that. And this surviving spouse, as you can see, is basically the single times two, or married filing jointly. It's the same as married filing jointly. But as you can see here, it's basically that is that double. See what I'm saying? So, the 2024 standard deduction worksheet. You don't need to go through all of this, but you can see right here. You get extra if you were born before 1960. You get extra if you. So, the 2024 standard worksheet with dependents. See here that the minimum would be 1,300. They got additional amount 1,450. So this is just showing you that when you have dependents, you get a little love. Boom, we got through that. What's up, Des? Y'all still with me?
To the class.
Y'all
Yeah.
still with me? What's up,
Threw me
Des?
off again because last week you sent the link around 7:30, so I was thought we was doing 7:30 again.
And now it's six
Now I'm in
o'clock.
the car with my friend. He blasting the music. I had to tell him turn it down. I got a class.
So I recorded it. I basically went through the
But
first
yeah, I
two
made it. I
lessons.
figured out. I had to go to the link you sent me, and I didn't know I had to download, do all the extra stuff. So
Yeah, I'm so the way that they got it designed, I'm not able to like send y'all the PowerPoint presentation, but I wanted to go over it with everybody. And people, y'all do have access to the course, man. The course is 225, and you get your CE credits. If you're not familiar with those continuing education credits, I am not a full instructor. I can't give y'all CE credits, um, but I can give y'all access to the courses. And as long as y'all finish the courses, y'all get y'all credits. So technically, you getting them from me. I'm just saying I can't personally go in and give you CE credits. But as you seen on the PowerPoint presentation, I went through Latino Tax Pro, and they have a great certification program, and it was something that was suggested to me from my mentor. And she was basically like, look, if you want to train your people, use this. You can basically do it like this, where you actually just do a training. And I am going to do a couple in persons before the season. Once we wrap this up in like the next few weeks. So maybe the first week of December, second week of December or something, I'll do a that weekend. I may do a couple in persons for people who want to show up. We can go over some things, do a live Q&A. By that time, I'll be done with all of these, and we can do like a wrap up or something. So hopefully, the people who didn't show up go through and watch it. I sped through it on purpose. The main thing is that we understand the 1040 being the foundation of all the returns, and that we understand that um, the filing statuses and the dependents. Not everybody is a dependent, and the filing statuses are by law, not by this what I want to file as, because I can claim more money. So we just need to understand that these filing statuses are important, and that the software kind of carried the 1040. I sped through that, but for the most part, the filing statuses and the dependents, laws govern that, not somebody just saying, I want to claim my cousin. So I will be doing a lot better at doing the reviews this year, only because they cracking down on everything. Those Schedule C's and all of the BS. Um, if people have legitimate businesses with receipts, and I went over this last week with Shay. Shay is a hairstylist, amongst other things, but she's a hairstylist. She had things like Style Seed, other ways that she collect money that she's able to say, here, I made money doing this, and here is my receipts. There are people who say, yeah, I do a little bit of this, and then you got to Schedule C. That's not how preparing taxes work. And sometimes we feel like like a crutch because we want to give them the best return. And I'm all for that, but let's just do it the right way. So that's pretty much the gist
Hey,
of it.
all money ain't good money. Okay.
No, because they on heads right now, and they gonna get on your head, you gonna get on my head, and then they get on my head, and I'm no longer a criminal. I'm snitching. No, I'm just playing. No, I'm not snitching, but I'm gonna do a lot better at checking the information, y'all. Because we gotta stick to the rules. So that's why I'm going through the trainings. So if you do things the right way, then you'll understand how to get the money. If you understand that maybe they made donations or something during the year, you can use itemized donations and things like that instead of just doing the standard deductions. I'm sorry, itemized deductions instead of doing standard deductions. And I'm tired. I've been up to like 4. So but I just wanted to make sure y'all understood all of this. So next week, let me see. I give y'all a preview of what's going on next week. Next week we will do um, the second and we do the third and fourth chapters next week, and that will be income and adjustments to income. So that's good. We'll do both of those next week. If y'all have any questions, y'all can ask y'all questions, y'all. I think Alicia jumped off.
Yeah, I'm with it. I feel it.
Yeah, we just doing this. It's kind of like a general. I just want to run through the PowerPoint presentations with y'all. Going into the tax season, we'll have a lot more like hands-on problems. So we address those problems here too, just to in case other people run into those problems. So these will be meetings all throughout the tax season. I know we're going to get busy, so if we need to break these down to every other week after I finish this next 6 weeks, we will do that. And I don't want to beat a dead horse. I just want to make sure y'all have access to each other and to me. If you are not on the band app, you need to get on the band app. I sent everybody links to the band app last week. So everybody need to join the band app. Des, make sure you on the band app. Because I will.
Yeah, I did that right before this. That's
Yeah,
kind of how I got here. I had to
yeah.
go there to get here.
But that's what I want to do. So I want to kind of us to get used to the band app. I will send out a blast, maybe 20 minutes before the meeting next week, So it will just be a blast saying, "Hey, we gonna start the meeting. Here's the link again." I'm just gonna send one blast, and we gonna just get used to being here at 6 o'clock on Sundays. If y'all want to be here, if y'all don't want to be here and y'all just want to catch the replay, I am fine with that. But I'm not gonna answer questions all during the week that could have been answered here. Like, is we gotta respect each other time, and so like if we if it's something that we have to deal with, let's deal with it. But if it's something that can wait, we are doing this before the tax season, so something you can probably take a little note on and just ask me when we come back Sunday. I just want to make sure we meet every single week. If anybody have any questions, we can address those questions. Okay, y'all good. We can get out of here. I actually thought I was gonna be here a little longer, but now I see I can get through it, one or two of
I'ma
these.
still have to rewind it because I still missed some, but all
It's
right.
cool.
Still
It's cool. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna put it
have to
on.
run it back.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on YouTube. It's getting late now, but I definitely put it on there before Tuesday, before the end of Tuesday, um, and everybody could just tap in. I just like I said, I don't want people watching it. And hey, I had three questions. Like, come on, man, just wait till Sunday. Let's all get on here because other people may have similar questions. So let's just get on here as a team every Sunday and address whatever it is. I don't even if it's something beyond these slides, we can get on here and just address it. Whatever it is. I'm putting the videos on YouTube, but they on private because I don't want everybody knowing about my splits and the other stuff that we talked about as far as everybody eating off of new people coming in, the 20% share with everybody. I want everybody stealing my ideas, man. People like jocking a little bit, and I'm trying to make sure that my team's straight and ain't nobody using my tactics to recruit. So we rocking and rolling.
Nobody using your tactics. You already know about
Yeah,
G.
but no, but you know how people do, man. People do what they do. They see something working and they wanna steal it. So I ain't knocking.
But nah, it was nice virtually meeting some people so far.
Girl, you only see Shay. You know Teresa. You only see Shay. Shay out for her birthday dinner and still tapped in. Ain't nobody got no excuse. All right, y'all. I'm gonna end this.
I sure did. I sure am. I'm hearing it.
Look, Shay had birth. That's crazy.
I sure am. I definitely
Still
enjoyed y'all.
tapped
Look.
I'm here. Yes, yes, yes. I gotta get
in.
it. Hey, it don't nothing stop it. I
Look.
appreciate it.
Hey,
Oh, don't
that's
put the liquor on
dedication.
YouTube. Don't drink the liquor on YouTube. None of my time. No, just play.
It'll be all right. It's my birthday.
It's
It's
my
some
Look,
wine. It's
birthday.
it's
grown.
a,
It's
It's
grown. It
grown.
ain't
it's
it ain't hard liquor. It's
celebration.
wine.
That's what's up. Happy birthday. That's funny.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Alvin. I appreciate you.
All right, y'all. Y'all wish Shay a happy birthday. Let's and
Happy
happy
That's so
birthday,
and
Shay.
happy birthday to
Well, oh
you
yeah,
too, Teresa. Yes,
yeah,
your
yeah.
birthday
yeah.
was
Oh yeah,
yesterday.
Scorpio
Happy birthday.
season.
Yes. This
Happy
happy birthday
birthday,
to
y'all.
all the Scorpios, period. Yes.
Y'all
Turn
It's
that
y'all
up.
season for sure.
Scorpio,
It
Scorpio.
is. It is. We gonna turn up and show out. Okay. Show
All
the
right.
fuck out.
But y'all have a good night though.
All right, y'all.
Yes. I got a
Everybody,
concert to go to after this.
she
Yes.
too hype. Everybody
Turn
enjoy
up.
their evening, especially you, Shay.
Yes. You too. Yeah, I'm gonna get my baby down to bed too. Being a mama don't stop. So
It don't
yes.
stop. I love it. So there y'all
Yes.
go, y'all. I see y'all next week, same time, same place. The link is going to be the same link. It's literally, if you don't see it, just scroll through your last messages. But I'm telling you, just tap into the band app. I will be sending things like during the week,
I'm on the
just
band
little
app too.
updates.
So I did that too.
Yeah, we in there, y'all. We in there. We live, y'all. We just trying to go into this season a little better than last season.
Perfect.
Dez brung three of her homegirls and then came at the end of the season. So we just trying to make sure everybody on the same page going into the season. That's all. That's why I'm doing this. So everybody got the same training. It's training in the software also, and I am going to do another walkthrough before the season, but I do have one where I did a full return. So and there will be new login links
Did you
coming.
stop the recording?
No, I ain't stopped the recording yet. But there will be new login links, y'all, pretty soon because we moving my office over to my service bureau. It may be done already. I haven't logged in the last few days, so it may be done already. But I'll send y'all new like links, just links. All of y'all information to be the same. It'll just be that landing page different because it'll be in my own office now.
Okay, are you gonna start sending them out a couple days earlier so I can start having these printouts of these sheets?
What sheets?
You said you're gonna start sending stuff out early so we can have a printout when you go over the stuff. So we
Oh, listen. Okay, so I can't do that. I
that's
can't
why
send.
I asked you was that's why I was asking was you still recording.
Yes. I got y'all. Hold on.